The performance was encouraging, but again, I feel it was two teams with potential who are not there yet, who were playing on the day. So I feel if Liverpool were at their best, I don't think Chelsea fans would have been too impressed with the performance because they would have been battered. And flip too, if Chelsea were also at their best, I don't think Liverpool fans would have been too happy about the performance. So for me, it wasn't. I'm not going to read too much into the performance and praise either team. But what I saw was something very significant. And at the start of it, I'll go back to Chelsea's transfer business over the past, let me say, 6 months. So in January, when Chelsea got rid of Jorginho, if you remember, I was against that particular transfer because they didn't have anybody or they didn't have enough cover in that position. And then they brought in Enzo Fernandez, and Enzo Fernandez was deemed to come and replace Jorginho in that position. And we saw him play that deep line, defensive midfielder type of role in the second half of last season. But that is not his game. That is not where he best functions. And this Caicedo transfer just proves that I was right back then. Yeah. So what that Jorginho transfer has done is to gift Arsenal 3 of the best in that position to this one team, Arsenal. And the other rivals are scrambling to try and get a player in that mode. And that is where we've reached in modern day football. That defensive midfielder type, that particular type of defensive midfielder is what is in demand. The defensive midfielder is good, that is very good in terms of defensive awareness, and then can also kickstart attack, can dictate game, is very comfortable with the ball. Yeah. The likes of the Busquets, the Rodris, in that mode, the Jorginhos, that type of player. And for me, Caicedo is a level above that. Why? Because he can do very different things. So Caicedo can play that Jorginho role. Caicedo can play a box-to-box role and function. Caicedo, if you even send him easily,
just defending hard.
He can do every type of role.
Michael Essien kind of player.
Yes.
He can play a right back too.
Yes, but in modern day football, I think he's a better fit than the Michael. I think he's a different type of everybody, and he does it at least to an 80% of all of them. And that is what he gives Chelsea. And for me, once Chelsea have got this Caicedo deal done, I think we're going to start seeing the best out of Enzo Fernandez. Now, what we saw in yesterday's game, if you were a Chelsea fan or a football fan and you were watching, anybody would have predicted that Enzo would have sat in that base and Gallagher would be let go. But Pochettino knows that is not Enzo's best position, and Enzo is better off being offensive and being allowed to express himself offensively. You can't have a player like that playing in that deep role and not have enough cover. Yes, he can play that role. But when he was playing that role, the few times he played that role when he was at Benfica, he had enough defensive cover around him, enough bodies who were moving around and doing the dirty work for him. It's similar to what Pogba does with France. When he sits deep, yes, he's that stylish player who dictates play. But he has a Kante, he had a Matuidi who go around and do that dirty work for him. So that is the sort of environment that Chelsea needed to create for Enzo if they wanted him to play that position. But now they have Caicedo. You have that defensive cover. You have somebody who's comfortable picking the ball and transitioning into Enzo who can also do the damage.
And the other thing is that has surprised many people is that in the midst of all of the Enzo Fernandez chaos, Chelsea pulled out of a deal for Tyler Adams.
Yeah.
And then only today we are discovering that Chelsea did that because they had their eyes set on Romeo Lavia from Southampton, the Belgian international. And the question I guess everybody's asking is, if he comes, where does he play? Are you playing all 3 together?
Can.
Yeah, it's possible. Pochettino is a very versatile coach. Okay. I think he looked at the team that he had, the players that he had yesterday, and decided to go with the system he played. It doesn't mean that is how he's going to play throughout his time at Chelsea. And you can imagine if you have Enzo, Lavia, and then Caicedo. These are 3 very different but good midfielders that could very much combine if telepathy is formed quickly. Also, there's nothing wrong having Lavia in the team to fight for a position because you can't account for injuries. No coach prepares for injuries. So you need that. I've already said just about 3 midfielders. So I'm happy with the signing of Lavia. I'm happy they've got Caicedo and they've got Enzo Fernandez as well. There are going to be games where you'll be very comfortable to go with 3 across the midfield, 3 up front. And there'll be games that you play like you played the last time. And in fact, you can play Enzo Fernandez in the Chukwuemeka role that you played yesterday. And nothing hurts you. You have Lavia, you have Caicedo. I think Chelsea's midfield, all of a sudden, from nowhere, they've got some of the best players in that position, and if they click, and that is down to the manager now. And we saw the signs yesterday. If they click, that's going to be immense. If Gallagher stays as well, that is an extra body. He can do several things in that midfield. He can be a box-to-box. He showed yesterday he could be a DM. He showed that he could be a number 10.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he leaves or he stays, but if he stays, that's an extra body. I just think Chelsea are beginning to find the pieces, even though it's not a finished work yet.
All right, cool.
They are on their way.